What's the general dummy operation? well. Oh, Doug, well, hand me that guitar. Hand me that guitar. Doug, let's get this show on the road. Here's when you'll know.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your incredible patience. I have to tell you... Hold up, let's get the light on. I have to tell you, yeah, 3 hours was really crazy. So it started with one guy, and he got really, really excited. He started calling a different friend who called another friend, which was really crazy. I ended up meeting a guy who works for Sega, who I guess has an office in Irvine. He was like, you should come by, and you should do like a tour, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm in a great mood. Had a lot of conversation with people. Check this out, y'all. Check this out. This is my wallet. Look at this. I'm not going to go through it all, but... I mean, look, right? Like, sick. Like, that's sick. So, great mood. I'm in a very, very good mood. We are downsizing. We're doing exactly what I've been saying I'm trying to do. So, yeah. Life is great. Very, very great. Hope you guys are all doing well. I know it's late. I know this is not our most popular game, but I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, we should make it rain. Well, I'm gonna have to clean it up if I do, but it's okay. We'll do it like this, you know? There we go. Sick. Anyway, good stuff. Hello to all of you. Let's start this game because we are in case 2. We are in case 2, which is the way to go. I have been very impressed with Edgeworth. I did not think the game, or at least the cases, would be as long as they are. I guess, you know, even though it's the sequel to Ace Attorney Investigations 1, the length of cases is maybe, you know, staggered differently. I don't know how else to say it. So give me a second to load up our game. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm in a great mood, y'all. Ask me questions if you want. How are you guys doing? How was your Tuesday? I'm thinking tomorrow I may stream in the afternoon again. Because again, I'm really into this game and I wanna try and beat it as soon as possible. But it may take. It honestly will probably end up taking me a second week. I don't really. Now that I see how long this game is, I don't see a world where we can, because I'm assuming there's 5 cases. That's my assumption, and I just don't see a world where we can actually beat it in the week. So it may take a little longer. You had to put up with cranky seniors. What does that mean? Okay, I'm thinking I want to try the original just for now, as much as I've been digging the arranged ones, because I don't, you know, because I haven't heard the original, so I don't appreciate the arranged ones as much. That's one little swap I'm gonna make. What were the cranky seniors? What does that even mean? BN7 funded by Demi, imagine. Oh, that's funny though. If there's anything BN that I'm funding, it would be an animated manga on YouTube. I still want to do that. It would be tough, but I would still want to do it. Okay. So we ended I am pretty sure we are about to do a little thief here. We ended... Well, you'll see. Let me show you. Introducing a great thief's great secret weapon, Little Thief. I have to say, I think Kate is so cute. Or Kay is very cute. She's so spunky. She and Edgeworth just have a really fun chemistry. Want to talk me through the deeds? What are you doing now? What? Zone of the Enders 2 was made because one guy told him I got the money, I'll pay, let me remake it? Wait, what? This is Mr. Thief. It's a device that can recreate crime scenes at specific moments in time based on the data you feed it. How about I start off with a recreation of what the yard looked like yesterday? Good idea. That was when they were in the middle of tearing down the stage. We didn't pay much attention to the well then. Who knows? We may have overlooked something. Leave it to me. I'll use the photo I took. Yeah, the Keener hair is really cute. I agree. Now witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. Yipes! What's this? It's a recreation of how things were yesterday, modeled on the data I gave Little Thief. The gadget was a tool used by the original Yatagarasu, but they used it to plan robberies. Well, no harm in using something on the right side of the law now. But keep in mind it can only recreate what you tell it to. It can't simulate things it doesn't have data for. And if the data itself contains mistakes, then it'll wind up with the same mistakes in the recreation too. This particular one is based on her photo. That's enough preamble. Shall we get started? Oh, thank you, Jenny. Again, I know it's late, you gang. If you gotta go to bed, you gotta go to bed, but I'm not stopping till we finish case 2. I'm telling you right now. I'm in a good mood, gang. I'm in a really good mood. And, gang, I still have so much to get rid of. For better or for worse. We should examine this area carefully. I like this remix. What are a bunch of pulleys doing here? They don't seem to be well pulleys for lifting buckets. There's a sturdy-looking hemp rope lying on the ground. Kind of run into the ropes we used for playing tug-of-war in school. The answer is no, Kay. I see it also has a metal stake attached to one end. But there was no tent, was there? In which case, what was it used for? So, I'm sorry, so Konami was actually funded a game by somebody who paid money for it? That's kind of wild. Who was the hero who did that? Zone of the Enders 2? 30 pounds. Do you guys think if I were a billionaire, I could go to Square Enix and say remake Kingdom Hearts 1, and, I'm sorry, remake Kingdom Hearts 2 with Billy Zane's voice as Ansem, Secret of Darkness? That's always a pipe dream I've had. That's a very big pipe dream. I would have to have so much... It's never gonna happen, but the idea of it is quite funny. Anything else up here? Okay, I guess not. There is more to this area, though, is there? The drain, maybe? Or the well itself, perhaps? It is locked. The well was behind the stage, which means there aren't many people who could have thrown Knight's body down. Looking worse and worse for Mr. Saint. So what do you think all the stuff around the well was used for? I can't see any of the animals needing them for their part of the performance. Indeed, nothing immediately strikes me as a likely purpose. We'll have to ask Miss Berry later. These chairs must have been for the audience. You've clearly never had a full bunch of boring chairs before, huh? Not personally. I've told other people to do it, though. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. You gotta roll up your sleeves and help out once in a while. I'll consider it. Yes. This is where the Great Circus was. So what is Zone of the Enders? I've heard of it, but I've certainly never played it. Cowbell, big agree. Big agree. Big agree. Hey, User, nice to meet you. User Sif, nice to meet you. Are you an Ace Attorney fan, a Mega Man fan, both? Yeah, Billy, I mean, you know what, it's not so much that, yeah, because I'm with you, I love Richard Epcar too. And it's not that he's bad, it's just Billy Zane was so freaking good, you know? Oh my gosh, Mr. Edgeworth, not in front of the poor elephant herself. I suspect that's about all there is to find for now. Detective Gumshoe should be here soon. Okay, you can power down Mr. Thief now. Oh, mech-style anime game. How cool. Oh, it's Kojima, too. Wow. Sorry, sir. Came as quick as I could. Ah, speak of the devil. Detective, that was indeed impressively quick. You know me, sir. Never did like to keep you waiting. Thanks for coming all this way, too, Regina. No problem. This seemed way more fun than rehearsal, so I ditched them for the day. Is Zone of the Enders a part of Metal Gear Solid 2? Do they have, like, Metal Gears in it or something? The disc had a demo. Oh, did not know that. How interesting. Vineri, no, I have not seen the live action. I really should. Oh, what's Missile got? What's with him? Looks like he's scared of something, sir. The hound? Eek! Oh, it's the alligator. Guess he's not a fan, sir. Any other bright ideas, Mauserino? Yes, actually. Miss Barry, would you mind lending us a hand? Oh, I'd love to. Just tell me what you need. Do you want me to teach Allie some tricks? I don't doubt she could do it, but nothing quite like that. I'd simply like an account of what the yard looked like. I like where this is going. You're thinking of using Little Thief again, am I right? Oh, really? So it's in the same universe. Zone of the Enders is the same universe as Metal Gear Solid? You know, actually, if anyone has a show and tell, I dug up something really cool back from when I streamed Metal Gear Revengeance. Metal Gear Rising. That's what the yard looks like. Oh, Retro got it. Look at that. Alright, give me a second. Okay, gang. I don't know if I want to open it up all the way. I guess I may as well. This, it's so funny. I was, like, so inspired by Metal Gear Rising. I loved it so much that I got this special edition. I want to say this was from Japan. Ugh. It's kind of hard. So I don't want to just bust it open. I may have to. Maybe get some scissors or something. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, double wrap. I took good care of it, that's for sure. Come to Papa. Which actually, I guess maybe I should have shown it off to those guys earlier. Okay, check this out. I think it is so cool. So this is Metal Gear Rising for the PS3. I love the way that it opens up like it was slashed by a sword. You've got this like beautiful artwork off on the side. It's got a little, oh my gosh. Who is the name of this artist? Phenomenal. Someone here knows the name of this artist. It starts with an SH, right? It's like, I don't know. It's definitely an art book. Shinkawa, yes, yes. Very, very cool. It even comes with a trading card, funny enough. I think these were enemies in the game. I love that artwork on the cover. That's insanely cool. Yeah. I mean, I guess I should bring it up closer so you guys can see it better. But yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna get rid of this. Oh, look at that. There's a steelbook case too. Yeah. So there it is. Yeah. I don't know. Like maybe I would, but I did really enjoy this game, and I think it's just a really cool case overall. I guess if anyone, I don't know. I guess if you actually really do want it, you can DM me, but I don't know. I'm on the fence. I may or may not. As much as I'm trying to downsize. Yeah, just wanted to show that off since we were talking about it. Was there another tip? Yep, there was. Is it this way? Nope. There we go. Beautiful. Famous, do you actually want it? If you do, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're saving money by shipping, you're gonna get a good deal by avoiding that, so. Let me tell you. Anyway, back to the game. No magic here to sweet, sweet data. Which is why, the area behind the stage is missing. Oh, you're just taking it! What a thief! What a thief! We don't have any data on what it was like back up there. No data in a simulation, huh? I'm sorry, guys. It's all because I let Simeon do everything by himself. Oh, no, it's my frilly associate's fault. Objection, Fender. We got a fresh simulation now, but we still have the other data, too. Ooh! Which copy did you get, Shingo? Of Ace Attorney Investigations 2? Visor, are you talking about the limited run? I think that's official. The one with the statue? I think that's official. I'm gonna tell you, I'm extremely excited for that game. Oh, I love that we're just... Look at us. We're just pushing K around. Something about this is really funny. Anyway. What do we got here? The basket was empty in the other recreation. Whoops. There we go. Oops, sorry. I made a mistake when I was filling you in earlier. You got the songs too. Nice. All the apples that were on it had vanished. Poof. I totally forgot to mention it. Sorry. Disappearing apples. I should make a note of this. Oh, that must be the elephant, right? Food was in the cart. Oh, maybe not. Pulleys, a rope, and a weight. Let's wait just a second, too. You know, Turnabout Big Top, not my favorite, which I think is a, Oh, it's on the official Sega website? Oh, right, that was Simeon, the clown. The victory is depicted in a very unique manner, whereby the villain is sent flying from the stage. Having been ejected from the stage in this manner, the villain no longer appears in the performance. Roughly how long would you say Mr. Saint was off stage for? Isn't it pretty hairy health, safety-wise, having an elephant fling a guy off the stage? Not at all. She's very gentle. I'm not sure it changes much if she flings him gently or roughly. Too gentle, in fact. When we first rehearsed it, she barely nudged him. But then he was flying off the stage. Simeon had figured out some kind of trick, apparently. Isn't that amazing? This is Simeon's big thing. Okay, the Zelda game comes out that soon? I feel like that game just got announced, you know? Whimper. Poor little guy's scared out of his skin. That clearly isn't in the cards now. It appeared that we're missing some data. Yeah, I cannot believe how many I want to live. I want to live. Oh yeah, come on. Have you been keeping up with One Piece? Have you been able to read more of it? I don't think I've checked in on you in a while. Saint's big moment has to be related to the items around, right? The saint he performed. Could it have something to do with this and all the items? Okay, I'd like to have another look at the equipment around the well. Could you have Mr. Thief bring up the recreation from when they were tearing down the stage? What gets the acrylic stand for Capcom, I guess? Could they not have been used for this trick? Could maybe add it to the simulation. I like it. Good idea asking Mr. Saint. I'm back, and he told me exactly how he did it. Excellent. Well, how does it work? For Zelda. Yeah, Shingo. No spoilers, but I'm also caught up to date in the manga for One Piece, and man, it's so good. I hope there's no break this week. The end of the rope went in with 2 pulleys and was tied around his body. So he used the downward pull of the weight to help launch himself up in the air. But how did he make sure the weight only dropped when he wanted it to? He used a stake to stop it. Miss Berry didn't seem to know anything about the trick or the contraption, in which case I suppose it must have been Mr. Saint himself who pulled out the stake. And to do that, he used a second length of rope. He tied it to the stake, and then when he gave it a sharp tug... Oh, that's really clever. The stake was released, and the weight dropped down the well. It's a great trick. I have to steal it. Kwanzo, I love that in Ace Attorney Investigations 1, they make a joke about all the flying that happens in cases. Is there no break this week? Yes. I'm switching back to the recreation. Well, it's better to call it Shattuck Generations, because when you say Sonic X Shadow, there may be shipping involved. Hey, Sick Guy, hello. This is how Mr. Saint performed his trick. Simeon's full of surprises, huh? I mean, dropping a weight down a well to help him fly off the stage? That's genius. You need quite a lot of weight, more than him at the very least. It would have taken some serious pull to lift him in the air. The elephant itself. You know, I've never seen it in the anime. I haven't seen the anime at all. What do they change that makes it better in the anime? I wonder. Oh, no? Okay, let's wait a little bit more. A better character arc. That is interesting because she was basically... I kind of feel like she didn't really understand anything that happened. She was kind of like the protected princess. Right? Who didn't fully understand why Acro was so mad at her. So she gets a better arc. That's cool. On heavy weights. Kind of makes you think how much this must all be weighing on Simeon. Too bad we don't have the real thing here. You face some stiff resistance if you tried. Pulling the rope. Are there any other cases you guys think are better in the anime? I've heard there was an anime exclusive, like a train. There was like a train case. This tarp, just like the one we saw in the workshop. Most testimony is shorter, kept serious. The puppet's the only one going for Regina. Oh, that's nice. And Max is given better motivation. That sounds like it was better altogether. Yeah, I know that's a big issue with people is the age differences involved with all the people who like her. Oh, whoops. Yeah, any other cases that people thought were better? Or how about any that were done in a different way? Just in general. How many episodes do they devote to a case? Like 2 or 3, I wonder? Because I feel about like the final case in the second game, I feel like that'd be kind of hard to do in just a few episodes, right? have so many little friends here. It's wonderful, and they're all such sweeties, the old faces and the new. Made a new friend only yesterday. Allie the alligator is just the cutest. Max talks with the ringmaster, not because he wants to talk Regina, but we ask for raises for everyone. Aww. That's actually really sweet. Bridge was like 5. That makes sense. Bridge deserves 5 episodes. Bridge to the tournament deserves 5 episodes, that's for sure. Is it really the 30-pound weights? Okay. Wait, doesn't that seem odd to you? You haven't noticed, detective? There's something strange about the weight we found. Well, how heavy it is and how there's only one is kind of the same thing. Problem is the number of weights. That is to say, one weight on its own wouldn't be heavy enough, yes. Hey there, Kirito! Single 30-pound weight couldn't have lifted Mr. Saint off the ground. In which case, could there perhaps be some weights missing? I keep thinking like Asia herself is part of the weight, but maybe not. No, I guess not. Oh, and she actually apologized. Oh, she actually apologized. That's huge too, I think. Yeah, because again, I feel like in the games, does she ever have any reckoning? I feel like she kind of gets away with it, you know? Whoops. I feel like she totally gets away with it. Because I think the case ends with, like, Acro crying, you know? Chairs are lined up neatly. Okay, I gotta think a little bit more. Hey there! Satrio, nice to have you! Hello, hello! Are you a big Ace Attorney fan? Your name seems kind of familiar to me, but maybe I have you mistaken. The pond is home to Warden Lagarde's beloved alligator. Those bones must be from her latest meal. She cries at the end, but she never speaks with Acro, and it looks exaggerated. Right, like the over-the-top. Like, kind of like a spoiled princess crying. Maybe the apples and the weight? Maybe these were stolen? No. Yeah, I guess not. Did Asia eat her apples? There we go. Oh, nice. I'm glad I pronounced it right. I made sure to put the cart where her trunk couldn't reach him. Oh yes, it was still full of apples the night before the show. We must consider the possibility the cart was moved to somewhere within Asia's reach. A large cart couldn't have been moved by the wind. It was moved by somebody the night before the show. Before it had even started, the cart had been moved. Alright, gang, what are some of your least favorite cases in this series? Can I tell you, I never liked the second case in the third game. I thought it was full of plot holes, the mask-to-mask case. I did not really care for that case. Although mask-to-mask as a character is kind of funny. I don't know. I guess Luke Atme is kind of funny too, but I don't know. Yeah, definitely the original Big Top, as we've talked about. No, that's not it. I thought it would have been stolen, but I guess not. Oh, whoops. What else are we investigating? Maybe this area? Oh, I guess not. Because this got moved. The door appears to be locked. If we deem it necessary, we'll simply ask for the key. You're free to shine somewhere else, but you'll not make an audience out of me. I thought it was interesting that Master Mask got to show up in the last game of Ace Investigation 1. Or rather, Master Mask the second. Now we're the death stairs, Chief. I'm cool, okay? I can keep a secret. Anything for the truth, am I right? It's possible vital evidence has already been destroyed. What am I missing here? Oh, the yokai mask was pretty boring. Or the yokai case was pretty boring. I would agree with that. It's written all over your face. Missile may be temporary at action, but my fishing rod's all good when you need it. Oh, the metal detector. Never seen him so excited. Yeah, the yokai case was kind of boring. Which is a shame, because I like playing as Apollo. Let's look for the weights. Detective, I have need of one of your secret weapons. I agree, Cowbell. I big agree. So far, the quality's been really good. Let me run you through how it works. It's simple enough. Okay, this sound. And this gauge should tell you how close you are to something made of metal. The closer you get, the more strongly it'll react. Just give me the order to examine the spot. Oh, the fence. Oh, we get to play as Detective Gumshoe! Wait, what? We get to play as Detective Gumshoe! Let's go! With this jazzy little theme. Whoa, that's sus. We're close, sir. Something metallic nearby. I found something. Something here, sir. Guess I must have just picked up some iron sand. Iron sand. You can find it at the beach sometimes, and I got just the thing we need right here. Secret weapon number 6 or 7. A seemingly ordinary magnet I found at the hardware store. Ta-da! It's picking out the iron. Come to Papa. Must be nice to be so easily entertained. I love that we get his remake, his remade theme. I got something. Something here, sir. It's a gold coin, sir. What a find! That'll go down in history. You know what? We should check the well. Never would have guessed it was hiding there this whole time. One of the coins from the big coin hunt we hold every 2 weeks. Sure is. The prisoners have to hunt for the coins in the Warden. The Warden buried. If they find 3 silver coins or 1 gold coin, they can swap them for a jelly donut. Alright, this has got to be it. Picking up something over here. Found these little guys in the grass. They're the same as the weight we found by the well. They must be from Mr. Saint Strick. Did someone hide these here on purpose? They'd be more than heavy enough to send them flying. So somebody had several of the same weights, one by the well. And why over here? Because no one would check it due to the alligator, right? Eek! Alligator! That thing nearly gave me a heart attack. Huh? What's the matter, detective? It's the metal detector, sir. It's, reacting to the alligator. You're sure it's not responding to the weights we just found? No, sir, I'm sure this is something different, and I'm sure it's coming from the alligator. And she's gone. What is Kate laughing about? Ah, we scared that big snapper good. I don't think that's it, Kay. Allie hasn't been herself lately. That's the name, Allie, the warden's favorite pet. She wouldn't even look at the food that she brought yesterday. She was acting as if, I don't know, as if maybe she'd eaten something that didn't agree with her. Maybe the metal detector was responding to whatever she ate, sir. What if she ate one of the weights? I highly doubt even an alligator could swallow a 30-pound lump of iron. I had a similar thought, Cabo, but that's interesting. Perhaps I missed something when I looked at the equipment by the well. I think the updated HD graphics look so nice. Oh, I like that they tell you what we're recreating in the top left. Honda's home to the beloved alligator. The bones was from her latest meal. I had the feeling she was rather ladylike in her own way. Little wonder it smelled of animals was being used for the elephants. Wait, what's Resident Evil Outbreak? What is that? What is Resident Evil Outbreak? Am I supposed to take a new look at the weights? That was weird. It said I had already checked it, so I was kind of confused about this. That's one time maybe it's a little funkier. Oh, deducing. So, can I ask, why did Death Battle need a Kickstarter? Don't they make a ton of money? What, I thought Mewtwo Shadow... Oh, a rematch. A rematch. I was gonna say, I thought it was, I thought that was settled. Oh yeah, with Shadow's new powers, maybe it's not so simple. What's different here? Is this rope the same rope? But is this anything different than what I've already done? Hold up, I gotta think about this. Maybe being blocked by the stage. There are a bunch of pulleys here. They don't seem to be well pulleys for lifting buckets. Huh. I admit I'm kind of confused here. Oh, do they one of the groups forced to shut down? Oh, so they lost their own personal funding. Okay, I feel like it's these pulleys. Because that's what's changed.
Eureka!
Right, the top parts. I did forget that. I did forget that. It's missing something. The hook. Whoops. Wait, normal boots? Oh, whoops. I didn't realize they were owned by a different group.
Eureka!
Wait, that didn't work? Not the rope? Uh-oh. How about this, the rope itself?
Eureka!
Duh. What? No? Hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. What am I missing here? It is missing the rope, though. Huh. Well, I know it's not the rope. What exactly is missing? Rope and a hook. No sign of the bucket. Oh, maybe something that could have been used as the weights? I'm kind of stumped right now. I mean, could the chisel have been used as like as part of the contraption? It's really not this? We're not comparing it to the past? Because I already tried that, didn't I? Let's save just in case. So this rope was used in the trick. One heck of a setup to pull off with a single length of rope. Simon's more capable than he looks. Just one piece of rope? Seems we have a contradiction.
Eureka!
What? No? It's 30 pounds. Yeah, there were two ropes being used in the past.
Eureka!
Okay, that's a little unfair. That's a little unfair that the rope, the missing rope that I have, well, I don't know. Namely that one of the ropes is missing. Mr. Saint's trick wouldn't work with only the items we see before us, so what happened? One piece of evidence we've collected might tell us exactly that.
Take that!
This rope was found beside Knight's body. It must have been the other rope used in Mr. Saint's trick. This rope did indeed have a weight attached to it, but it wasn't part of the iron weights we found. Those were hidden in the bushes and replaced with something else. Think about what the rope we found in the workshop was related to. The weight dropped down the well in place of the iron weights. The body?
Take that!
It can only have been Knight's body. Mr. Knight's body was the weight? So somebody first swapped out the weights used for Mr. Saint's trick. Then Mr. Saint used the contraption to make his exit from the escape. When he let the rope around his body loose, both the rope and Knight's body fell to the bottom. The rope was never used to restrain Knight, it was used to suspend his body halfway. From this we can easily see why most of the weights were hidden, so that no one would realize they've been replaced. Whoa there, gang. Wasn't poor old Bronco stabbed in the neck? Wouldn't there be blood everywhere, including down the well? The killer thought of that, which is why they used this, the tarp.
Take that!
This tarp was found with the body. I think it's likely that Knight's corpse was wrapped with it, yeah. But all we're doing is proving the body did go down the well, which means we're helping to prove that Simon was the killer. No, not quite. But if Mr. Saint is truly the killer, why would he go through such lengths? That's true. Knight's body fell down the well when Mr. Saint used the contraption. Therefore, it reveals nothing about the real killer, what they were actually doing. It was only designed to throw suspicion onto those who were not at the show. That was the killer's goal, to make us think the crime took place. In other words, they used the well contraption to construct an alibi. Miss Berry, when exactly did Mr. Saint put this contraption together? It would have been the day before the show. The night before, actually. Yes, we started getting ready for the show around 9 p.m. I think we finished around midnight? The killer must have switched the weights out for the body at that point. Was left dangling inside the well the night before the incident. So the body was dead for quite some time. Did Canis know about this contraption? Even if he did, he wouldn't have been able to do much with it. And I highly doubt he taught his dog to suspend bodies halfway down wells, which means Canis isn't the killer. The body was left dangling. Whoops. The basket was used to help move the body. The basket was moved the night before the circus performance, and we've deduced the weights were switched out for the body around the same time. The next question we should be asking is the cart that would have been blocking the door. Oh great, it's locked. Guard, where is the key to this door? The warden keeps a hold of that. I'll go ask her for it. Warden Lagarde is the only one with a key. Meaning, if somebody did open the door, they would have had to get it from her somehow. Thanks for the help. Look at all those breakers. They must control electricity for the entire area. Sorry, give me a second. What were they trying to do? Well, I doubt they came here thinking it was a break room. They must have come to tamper with the switches. Did they turn the power off to something? Come to think of it, wasn't there something that lost power? Ah! The security camera!
Take that!
There was a 3-hour gap in the security camera footage. Someone flipped the breaker, so from 9 p.m. to midnight? Seems very likely. Do you think it was the killer? It's true that shutting off the cameras would have made things easier for them, which means the killer would have to be someone with access to the breakers. And it seems only one person has the key. It couldn't be, could it? Warden Lagarde? Alright, little thief, your work here is done. Wow. Well, looky here. Eustace winner. First on the scene, the early bird wins the worm. Good morning, Mr. Winner. What? You, how'd you get here before me? Good morning, Mr. Edgeworth. I see you've made an early start. And I see you've made a late one, Judge Gavell. This is not my only case. I'm a very busy woman. Not all of us enjoy the freedom of a prosecutor relieved of his only current responsibility. Oh, I do apologize. I meant, of course, an associate attorney. Associate, more like asinine. We'll see about that. Eustace, let us begin the investigation of the yard. I'll get some officers to help. That won't be necessary. Why not? We've already finished investigating the yard and won quite the prize in the process. Won? But I'm supposed to be the winner. Your Honor. I'd like to revisit your theory from yesterday, in order to thoroughly disprove it. I would caution you to choose your words carefully, Mr. Edgeworth. I am sure you remember your badge is in my hands. How could I forget? You've told me several dozen times already. So true. Perhaps you'd care to try a different threat. You've been warned repeatedly, yes, and each time my words seem to have fallen on deaf ears. Allow me to make this crystal clear. The committee cannot and will not tolerate insubordination. The fate of my badge and the whims of the committee are of no concern to me now. The only thing that concerns me is proving Simeon Saint's innocence. Interesting and spoken like a true defense attorney. In that case, I shall be equally uncompromising. In the name of the goddess of justice, I will strike down your case without mercy. And when I am done, your career as a prosecutor will be over as well. I hope you do not come to regret this. Yeah, Kira, I've never played the fan localization, but my theory remains the same. Mr. Carcerado did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel. As such, the body could only have been dropped down the well during the show. We both know the only one who could have dropped the body down there was Mr. Saint. That's still your assertion, and you can prove it, of course. Of course she can. Woo! Who do you think you are? And who do you think you're up against? We received the final autopsy report. She really is a very busy woman, busy looking after baby Winner. The victim appears to have died the night before. Cause of death is as stated. 4 inches deep. Judge Gavell hasn't investigated the yard yet. A legitimately perfect name. My theory remains the same. Mr. Carcerado did not see Mr. Knight's body when he passed through the tunnel. As such, the body can only have been dropped down the well during the show. Could you talk us through your reasoning on that a little more? The day before the performance, he borrowed the keys. The key to his cell. Oh, his name was Sebastian de Best? That's funny. Mr. Carcerado crawled his way through the tunnel. Wait a second, that doesn't add up. Mr. Carcerado smelled that sweet smell. Knight must have been in the tunnel already. No, his body did not pass through the tunnel until some time after. Mr. Carcerado used the tunnel around the time the show was starting. The body was discovered just after the performance ended. From which you deduce that the body could only have been thrown down the well. Justine Courtney is pretty good, actually. What's her first name? It's something of L. We both know the only person who could have thrown it down there was Mr. Saint. Let's press this more. Are you sure about that? I understand that Miss Berry was on stage for the entire performance. Most of the prisoners were watching the show. And those who were not are not plausible. Yes, they are some great. Oh, Horace Knightley is a good name for Bishop. Or Knight, right? Simon Keys, Shy Monkeys. Okay. I do kind of like Simeon, though. The killer could only have been Simeon Saint. Judge Gavelle hasn't carried out a full investigation yet. The body could only have been dropped down the well during the show. It's probably the trick that matters.
Objection!
Okay. Oh, I guess not. The body can only have been dropped down. And the only one who could have dropped it down was Mr. Saint. We have to show that the body didn't happen at that time. Oh, we're not going to talk about how the victim's body was on that? And that's really the only evidence. Used during the show to send Saint flying. Let's just try this too. Ah, okay, that did work. I feel like both of those could have worked. Sorry, Your Honor, but there's something else you're gonna have to take into account. The well in the yard was rigged by a certain unique contraption. A contraption? Go on. You will recall that Mr. Saint was sent flying on the stage by the elephant. Just before he was to be absent for some time. He was only able to fly through the air thanks to a weighted rope. Dropping the weighted end to the well allowed him to complete the trick. Wait, wouldn't that send him flying as soon as he set foot on the stage? It's simple, really. He kept the weight from falling by using a stake to keep the rope in place. With a second rope, he was able to pull the stake free, thereby controlling when the weight was dropped. We have found evidence to suggest the original weight was replaced with Knight's body. This was done by the real killer in order to create an alibi. The estimated time of death tells us that the murder took place early in the morning. The killer could have tampered with the contraption in the time between the murder and the show.
Objection!
You're saying Mr. Saint himself set this contraption up, right? Well, then who do you think is the #1 most likely person to have used it, Hold up, give me a quick second here. I like this remix.
Objection!
Obviously not the arranged version, but... If Saint was the killer, he could have simply done as Judge Gavelle theorized without the extra steps. Miss Berry, does anyone else know how Mr. Saint's trick works? Well, let's see. We had to get the prison's approval. So I don't think Simeon's the only one who knows. And there you have it.
Overruled.
So Ray Shields, you're talking about the guy who died in the beginning? Yeah, I'm with you, Calvo, especially for a DS game. Why do you not work to do what is right? Is what I am doing wrong? If so, who is it who deems it so? How can you not grasp even that? How can you not see that you are doing wrong at this very moment? You are a prosecutor and yet you aid the defense. This flies in the face of common sense. You are breaking every rule in the book. I think only of what is right and just and act as I see fit in each situation I am confronted with. This is the path I have chosen. And whether or not you comprehend the choice is immaterial. But if you mean to stand in my way, I will fight back with all I can bring to bear. Perhaps the goddess of justice is teasing me. Then I shall end this once and for all. Oh, you don't like Eddie Fender? He's a defender. Eddie Fender. I think it's a great name personally, but another reason why only Mr. Saint can be the killer. If the body was moved from the yard to the workshop, then Mr. Knight must have been the first to bring it from his yard to the cell. The only person who had the opportunity to do that was Simeon Saint, and thus he remains the only plausible suspect. Mr. Saint took a cage with him to Mr. Knight's cell. But why would he do that? Why take an unwieldy object all the way to the holding cells? It is pretty sus. Kay called it sus, I love it. But we've all met Mr. Saint, that's exactly the kind of thing he would do. It's entirely plausible he took the cage with him out of absent-mindedness and nothing else. It may be plausible, but it is no more or less plausible than having helped Mr. Knight escape. The body was moved from the yard. Mr. Knight must have been first brought here to the yard from his cell.
Hold it!
Mr. Knight was awaiting trial. If he, a random non-inmate, had openly entered the prison proper, he surely would have been noticed. And presumably none of your witnesses have testified having seen such a thing. Praise be to the goddess for granting you this insight. So as you will agree, it can only be that Mr. Knight was brought here in secret.
Hold it!
You're certain nobody else had the opportunity. Need I remind you, we are in a prison. The entire facility is monitored at all times. Anything out of the ordinary would have been spotted. But Mr. Saint was under the same scrutiny, was he not? The Warden had been granted members of the circus special access as a member of that troupe. He is the only person who was free to wander where he willed. It seems you've forgotten something, Your Honor. Look at them going back and forth. Forget is not a word in my vocabulary, Mr. Edgeworth. Very well, then recall this fact, if you will. You claim Mr. Saint is the only person who was free to walk around the prison, but there was a brief period of time on the day of the crime. A time where it would have been possible for anyone to move entirely unmonitored. When the power outage was out.
Take that!
Mr. Saint is far from the only one who had the opportunity. What opportunity are we talking about here again? We previously established that the time code on the security footage was off by 3 hours. And from this we deduced that there must have been a power outage lasting for that length of time, during which anyone could have been moved around undetected. Do you mean to say that our killer intentionally created this 3-hour gap? That it was no simple camera malfunction? It was completely possible to create the 3-hour gap using this.
Take that!
Our investigation of the yard turned up something rather interesting. A panel of breakers, one of which used to cut the powers. We also learned that the door to the power room may have been opened around the time of the murder. What? Such a shame to see one so capable fall so short of the mark. Mr. Edgeworth knows what he's doing. Ha ha ha. Then how does he explain the lock on the power room door? Oh yeah, it was kind of locked up tight. And the Warden's the only one with the key. Hey! Unfunny, I know it's really late for you. Nice to see you, dude. These breakers are vital to the prison's infrastructure. So I very much doubt that anyone could have gained access to the power room's key so easily.
Objection!
No, but one person could have. I beg your pardon? That person, the killer, had easy access to it, in fact. And what's more, their position here is such that nobody would dare question them. What? There's no one like that. The breaker to the electric fence is in there. They'd be questioned in an instant. There's only one person who meets this criteria. Can hardly believe it myself, but I have to follow where the logic leads. Is this the sax?
Take that!
The real culprit is... Oh my. Are we gonna get a good reaction? Oh, just look at you. Aren't you just the cutest little poochie-woo? He's not just a pretty face, Missile also has quite the nose for sweet things. It seems he's smelling something very sweet indeed, and it's coming from you. Oh, darling, you're making me blush. I'm not even wearing perfume. Then perhaps it is the sweet stench of death. What a line! You're a regular poet, aren't you? I had no idea. The sweet stench of death. But if I didn't know any better, I'd almost certainly think you were calling moi the killer. That is precisely what I'm calling you. What? Warden Lagarde is the killer. Mr. Edgeworth, do you realize what you're saying? Oh, such a naughty boy. How could you suspect me? I'm the one in charge around here. It's like we're a murder mystery, aren't we? And equally far-fetched. This is preposterous.
Hold it!
Sadly, it is not. Although I can hardly believe it myself. But this is where the evidence points, and we must trust in the evidence. This piece of evidence proves Warden Lagarde is the killer. Oh gosh. Is it the breakers? Is that what matters the most? No? Uh-oh. Patricia Rowland. This is no joke, Warden. You are the killer. Okay, hold up. Let's stop and think. Is it the camera? The fact that the camera went out? The fact that she has all the keys? Who's Aaron Span? Oh, is he a voice actor? Okay, hold on a second. I was thinking it was the breakers more than anything else that they were tampered. Was it the sweet smell? Is the timestamp? Deployed at the entrances. Oh, the one seized by the police? Is it the fact that the bells? That the police would have the bells? Or perhaps the weights? I don't know, it seems too early for the bells. Instant death, stab wound to the throat, a sharp metal blade of some sort. Oh, that's cool. The DS Joshua? That's a good voice. Oh man, I feel kind of bad about this. I really thought the breakers was number one. She'd be the only one to have the key to actually tamper with that. Maybe the fact that the security gates didn't detect anything, but that doesn't prove that she's the killer. Maybe it's the fact that they searched for everything, but they couldn't find any evidence. Okay, Missile smelled something on the guard, so it's the sweet smell. Okay, what proof do I have about that sweet smell? Was it Bronco's body?
Take that!
Your scent betrays you, Warden. And here is your accuser. The police dog. We had him track a sweet scent that was lingering around Knight's body. He now appears to be smelling the same scent, and it's coming from you. Oh, darling, you're priceless, really you are. Your evidence is a whiff of suspicion. Verity, dear, do put him in his place. Oh, her name is Verity Gavel, okay. It seems Judge Gavel may have reached a similar conclusion to myself. You believe this to be no mere coincidence, Mr. Edgeworth? I do. After all, she had the key, and the scent found lingering on the body is hers as well. Or just one or the other, we might be able to brush it off as coincidence, however. Indeed. Then it seems a conclusion approaches. Good job, Gavel. I like when she jumps on board. Perhaps we should hear what the Warden has to say for herself. We should, and when we have, this case will finally be at an end. You're all being simply awful. Stop looking at me like that. Me, the killer? How could I possibly do such a thing? So, was Aaron Span, he was in the fraternity? The same fraternity at the college rush? Verity told me everything she knows about the case, sweetie. The victim died in his cell, so by your logic, I would have had to have killed him there. But how am I supposed to have moved the body, especially as I never went into the prison? I was too busy with work, you see. I was cooped up in my office. Check if you like, you won't find a record anywhere of me having left or entered the prison. I haven't the first idea what harebrained theories you little scamps have cooked up. There's simply no way I could be the killer. Give me a break, Missile doesn't lie. Oh dear, I'm afraid you're the one making things difficult. As I said, I never went into the prison. If you think I'm lying, go check the records. She clearly wants us to check those records, which means they won't help us. We'll just have to find another way of getting the truth out of her. Stop being such a big silly. You made a boo-boo and you know it. The victim died in his cell, so by your logic, I would have had to have killed him there.
Hold it!
The murder took place in his cell? You seem very happy to accept that. And why shouldn't I be? It seems the most likely place. And besides, they found Knight's blood in his cell. That was from being struck by Mr. Carcerado. So I need to tell her that, I suppose. I take it there's no testimony to the contrary? What does it matter? Knight being killed in his cell doesn't go against any of the facts. Is he a young guy then? I thought he'd be an adult by now, because the DS Joshua was such a long time ago.
Hold it!
Knocking down your TV to kill a fly. Please, darling, let me finish. I was too busy with work, you see.
Hold it!
So you were in your office the whole time, and you didn't notice anything unusual? No, I can't say I did. And you didn't notice anything missing? I must confess, I'm a rather messy girl. And a forgetful one at that. I put something down, it's lost forever. It's a curse, darling, a curse. I haven't lost some important evidence. She stole a job? Honestly, if somebody came into my office, it might be years before I noticed. Any more than the power of the room key. And looking for something I'd misplaced. Even I had a reason to go into prison, I simply wouldn't have had the time. Sure, maybe you didn't go through the main entrance. But what if you took another route? Oh, come now, sweetie. You surely don't mean that awful, filthy tunnel. Why, until yesterday, I had no idea it even existed. No, you went another way, and I'm certain of it. A route that didn't require going through the main entrance of the tunnel. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Hold up, hold up. An alumni, there you go. Yeah, an alumni with connections. There you go. So entering the prison without going through the main way. From her own office, maybe? This is the prison proper. Which normally goes through the connecting corridor. Would it be the warden's office or the yard that's better to present? Oh, but it's the holding cells. That's what matters, right?
Take that!
Okay, I guess not. Just say yourself I didn't use the entrance of the tunnel. Route from her office that bypasses the prison. And the tunnel. The only time Knight's body could have been placed in the well... The only time Knight's body could have been placed in the well was the night before the show. In which case, we'll have to rely on something other than the records in question. Yeah, I guess the yard is better. Because she could have jumped through the well, right?
Hold it!
I thought it was kind of a 50-50 for me because they're both connected, you know? I was thinking maybe Edgeworth would say you used your office and then went through, but yeah, let's try the yard.
Take that!
Through the fence. Warden, you took Knight from his cell and brought him to your office. See, that's what I mean. The office was part of it, which happens to be connected. I don't know. If you had a way through the fence, then you would have been able to circumvent both the entrance and the tunnel. Hee hee, a gold star for creativity, darling. And how would I have gotten through? This extremely high fence topped with a razor wire with thousands of volts. The power was out. The fence electricity supply can be cut off from the power room, and only you had the key, Warden. No one but you could have done it. Utterly ridiculous. The power room is on the prison side of the yard. Warden Lagarde was on the detention center side. How could she even have reached the power room? Exactly, Verity, darling. You've dug yourself a real hole now. There was no record of Warden Lagarde having entered the prison. The idea she could have shut off the fence is out of the question. Take a deep breath, big guy. Lose your cool, you lost everything. If you don't find a solution, she might wiggle out of this. So take a deep breath, not freak out and completely lose your cool. There's nothing to be gained by banging your head against the same wall, yeah? No matter how you look at it, Warden Lagarde couldn't have done it alone. Mr. Edgeworth, if you cannot find... You aren't doing yourself any favors by obstructing justice with your silence. That was a reflexive objection. But now that I've yelled it, if I don't come up with an answer, it's all over. I have one more thing to add, if you'll permit me. Hey, Bloody Coffee Kitten. I never played the fan translation. This is my first time playing it. I played every Ace Attorney other than this and other than the great Ace Attorney games. A British... That's actually kind of fun. I never stopped to think that, like, fan voices would be lent to the fan translation like that, too. She does kind of seem British, doesn't she? Something that explains how the Warden could have shut off the breaker from the wrong side. Kitten, what's your favorite case from all the games, and what's your favorite game in general? Because it's not as impossible as it seems. An accomplice. She couldn't have done it alone. But what if she wasn't alone? Ooh, now we're talking. Way to flex the old gray matter, kiddo. I believe that Warden Lagarde had an accomplice. Enough, you disappoint me, Mr. Edgeworth. What do you mean? Mr. Edgeworth said nothing wrong. The inmates of this prison are all issued with security bracelets. The ones that raise the alarm if people go where they're not supposed to. I see that you've realized your error. Okay, Bloody, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure that gets me hyped for this game. You don't need to tell me anymore. I've already been enjoying. Case 1 blew my mind. I was like, this is a really spicy case 1. Case 2 is also very, very exciting. Look, if we had to wait all these years to play this game, then that's great. But how about okay? Then how about from the game? How about from not from this game? How about a favorite game, and how about not from this game? Favorite game, maybe a second favorite game, and maybe a second favorite trial. Despite all that, no one noticed Mr. Carcerato's escape. The only ones who are free to roam are the animals, and they are most certainly could not have operated the breaker. No, so our accomplice must be human. Yeah, I'm with you, Cabell. That must have been it.
Objection!
There was a prisoner with a broken guard. The fact is, there was one person, someone whose movements weren't restricted.
Take that!
This is... a broken bracelet belonging to a certain self-proclaimed model prisoner. What do you mean? And who was this prisoner? Mr. Saw-It. Frank Saw-It, Warden Lagarde's favorite inmates. It's strange, isn't it, Warden, that he was able to keep his broken bracelet hidden and wander freely around the prison. That's pretty funky, and I don't mean in a good way. I want to see her take off the coat so badly. It couldn't be the case that he was permitted some sort of special leeway, could it? Although you are in the habit of giving such leeway to certain others. Canis, for example. Good night, Twin Funny. Thanks for staying up late with us, man. In that case, why don't we ask Mr. Saw-It himself? I'm confident he will confirm for us that he and Warden Lagarde were accomplices. If the two of them had worked together, a certain route in the prison becomes viable. The real route by which Knight was moved from his cell. Recall that there were two big obstacles in the path. First, the security camera outside Knight's cell. Second, the electrified fence. Ooh, it's the saxophone! But she was able to remove both obstacles in one fell swoop. Oh my gosh. Look at that, listen to that delicious sex. And then we got shut off, darn. Alright, Mr. Edgeworth, you've had your fun. And? Do you still deny it, Warden Lagarde? Ah, no, darling, you've got me. I admit it. Warden! Tell me this isn't true. Sorry, Verity, honey, I'm afraid it is. Frankie helped me do it. No way! You did it, Mr. Edgeworth, you got her! Nice shooting, cowboy. She'll be wriggling out of this now. As Mr. Edgeworth said, I had Frankie switch off the breaker. But we didn't kill Knight, did we? No, sweetums, no, we didn't. Warden, explain yourself. Oh, Verity, dear, I doubt your precious goddess will want to hear my excuses now. She is all merciful, you all but have to confess and you shall be saved. Oh gosh, alright, I was being threatened. I had no choice but to do as he said. Canis? Canis, that awful assassin. I heard about that, yeah, brought back Saw-It for the 10th anniversary. I'll never forget the day he arrived. Whoa. The moment we were all alone, he said this to me. You should know that I have other dogs. Dogs not confined to this fine institution. Others? Yes, very loyal dogs. Dogs who will do anything I ask of them. Of course, he wasn't talking about real dogs. He was talking about his very human cronies. And then he said one last thing. I would recommend that you take care in how you treat me during my stay here. I wouldn't want to set my dogs on you or your precious family. I had no choice. I gave him that cell. I gave him everything he asked for. Everything. Wait, is that I became the fixer? Yes, darling. I obeyed his every command and smuggled it in for him all that he wanted. You know, Coffee Kitten, if you just remind me, I'm obviously going to keep playing through this game. I don't need to hear the difference right now, so if there's not another video to compare it, that's all good too. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. I brought dear sweet Frankie. He agreed right, of course, because I made things easier for him too. So you were smuggling in contraband, how exactly? Once a week, late at night, Frankie would shut off the breakers. That allowed me to go in from my office to the yard. And I simply dropped the packages down the well. Who let the dogs out? Each one of them spritzed with a little of my perfume. So that's what the sweet smell was. Yes, it was a signal for Canis's dog. When he picked up the scent, he would fetch the packages and bring them back to his master. We had to make sure Rocco wasn't in his cell. Can't have been easy keeping him from finding out. Oh, we were all very much creatures of habit here at the prison, darling. Everything runs to a schedule, meals, exercise hours, that sort of thing. We knew when he wasn't there. The adorable bear freezes at the sight of Canis's dog. What is LaGuardia? I was just thinking it was a French, she's the guard. With her on his side, Canis couldn't fail. Frankie would sneak out early in the morning to switch the breakers. Apart from fixing the time codes, which I would do on later when I got the chance. You have shared a great deal, Warden. The goddess of justice will surely take your honesty into account. I've been the most dreadful fool. I'm supposed to be the one in charge. The day of Knight's murder was also one of our delivery days. Oh, a New York airport. No package for me to deliver, so it didn't go to the yard. LG, hey, Muska! The police have been trying to track down his accomplices ever since I've had the limit of a hand, yes. Heaven knows how many times I've hauled the secretive scoundrel to my office. But no matter what I say or how much evidence, he simply won't say a word. Hey, Muska, have you booked your tickets? Have you thought about still coming? Exactly. I was trying to track down those horrible hench people. Fifi Lagarde. I borrowed everything the police had on that rotten scoundrel. I watched his every move, intercepted every letter. His letters. And I suppose you must know about his correspondence chess games, too. But no matter what I did, I couldn't turn up any clues as to who his underlings were. Living in fear like this, it's... oh, you just can't comprehend it. As you've just heard for yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The words of Warden Lagarde's confessions have cleansed her of all suspicion. Surely there was no need to hound her any longer. Has she really been cleared of all suspicion, though, or is there more about her to uncover? Oh, happy to hear it, Muska. I mean, I know, not happy to hear about the price, but... I think the goddess of justice would agree. So you mean to make her suffer even more? Unfortunately, her suffering under Mr. Canis does nothing to prove her innocence in Knight's murder. She admitted herself that she knew of and even facilitated the Fixer's delivery route. I believe she used that same route to move Knight's body. And where is your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth? It's in the fact that the sweet smell on Knight's body is the exact same scent she uses to signal a delivery. What do you make of that? Well, that's because we've done it so many times by now, the whole well probably smells. Imaska, if you want to wait a little bit, I can help look for some tickets too after the stream. Just, I don't know, it doesn't hurt to have a second set of eyes on it, although I'm sure you're pretty well traveled too. That does match the statement that Mr. Carcerado provided. A smell. Always smell kind of nice down there. Nice. Gee, I don't know. It smelled sort of like dessert, I guess. His words seem to suggest the smell had permeated the well. You've been rendered speechless, I see. Adjourn the session of court. What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? What can I do? Is this as far as we go? Finally. So we're finally done? Yes, Eustace. It seems we are. By the power vested in me, this court is adjourned. Ooh, let's hear it. Who was that? Let's hear it, Ooh, Fender. Come on, Judge G. Things are just getting good. Fender! Are you objecting to my adjourning the session? Heh. No. Would have shouted objection if I wanted to do that. You do you, G. Adjourn, don't adjourn, whatever floats your boat. What are you doing, Mr. Fender? Don't worry about what I'm doing. Let's all just take a chill pill, shall we? By that I mean a square of chocolatey goodness. Anyone? Are you trying to get yourself charged with contempt of court? No, my bad. I just had a quick request to make is all. As Simeon Saint's lawyer, that is. Ah, yes, I had forgotten that you were his real attorney, Mr. Fender. How could you? You're killing me here. Can you blame us? You've been making Mr. Edgeworth do everything this whole time. Right you are, which is why I figured it's time to put in some work. Work, you say? Somehow I don't believe you've done work today in your life. Then let's say this is me doing some prep work for the upcoming trial. Mind if I question the witness? Now? Amusing, but what is there left to ask? I got a feeling in my funny bone that Thieves here has something more to tell us about the killer. Do I? Yes, indeed. See, as a major player on Team Simeon, I can spot a sympathizer when I see one. So, you think he did it, do ya? You don't think he did it, do ya? So tell us who did. Come on, spill the beans. We're all ears. Mr. Edgeworth, what's he doing? He's trying to coax Warden the Garden into giving something away. Ask yourself, why would she go through all the trouble of sending Knight's body on such an odd journey? It's because she wanted to frame Mr. Canis. No way! If he was convicted of committing murder here, that could have been grounds for a transfer to another prison. Or likely a more secure facility. Is there no death penalty in Japan? Is that a thing, you guys? Is there no death penalty in Japan? And where he'd be out of her hair forever, huh? Precisely. She saw her opportunity and seized it. No, Saint cannot be the killer. That's not fair. I was all ready to prosecute him. I know, right? But maybe we should find out what she thinks first. Don't want to get the wrong guy, yeah? Heh, nice. Now Mr. Winter has to go along with it, too. Well, Warden, are you happy to testify further? Of course, how could I refuse this silver-tongued devil? Hey, Jedi Mega Man, hello to you! Eddykins, you have such a way with words. Jedi, are you not in the United States? Are you not in the United States? Because it's true, the death penalty is definitely a thing in the U.S. I'm simply dying to tell all verity. Canada! As you wish, court is unadjourned. Can't believe you pulled that off, Mr. Fender. Whoa, me neither. Thank you for the timely intervention. Hey, it's the least I could do. Kay's not wrong, I've been leaning on you hard. And besides, the defense never rests, am I right? Simeon's depending on us. Sadly, I think I just about exhausted my reserves of cool lawyer chat here and we can't foul this up now. Which means you're up to bat, Miles McSmiles. Show him that never rest spirit. I shall. Fabulous. Let's get started. The last Japanese execution happened 2 years ago. Wow. An aggravated assault. I really don't think anyone could have done it but that dreadful Canis. There's no telling what went on between him and the victim. Perhaps he simply took a disliking. He's certainly the type. Or whatever the sordid details, it was him. He stabbed that poor man to death. And then he had his dog dispose of the body. The victim, Mr. Knight, yes. I did him the most terrible disservice. Yes, you killed him. I suppose you could put it that way. If I weren't such a sorry excuse for a warden, this never would have happened, and that's why I have to clean up this whole terrible mess. Warden Lagarde, as ever, your honesty is truly to your credit. I am certain Mr. Knight is looking down and weeping tears of gratitude. You've clearly never met Mr. Knight. Edgeworth is so funny. Edgeworth is so funny without meaning to be. I really don't think anyone could have done it. I'm gonna press everything, I think. You seem very confident in your assertion. Why is that? Because all the other children in my little home are absolute sweethearts. They have faith in themselves and another. And they work hard every day to better themselves. None of us would dare commit murder. It's a very touching reason indeed, and I don't believe a word of it. No telling what went on between him and the victim. Knight was being kept in a holding cell while Mr. Canis was in the prison proper. What could possibly have happened between them? Prisons aren't as big as they seem, you know. All kinds of awful things can happen. But Knight only arrived 2 days before he was murdered. I can't imagine anything significant happening in that short space of time. You don't know Canis, my dear. He'll find a way, I'm sure of it. Perhaps he simply took a disliking.
Hold it!
How could he take a disliking to someone all the way over in the holding cells? I'm just plucking possibilities out of the air. As I said, there's no telling what really went on. You're so awfully serious, aren't you? Not that I mind, of course. Why is she looking at me like that? So noble, so dashing in that marvelous suit. I can feel myself becoming your biggest fan, darling. I really can. Say with me, Mr. Edgeworth. The Riz. I wasn't prepared for that mental onslaught. That's a tough question, Cowbell. I mean, Phoenix is such an obvious answer. I like them all, honestly. I actually like Apollo a lot, too. But there's something about Edgeworth. I think Edgeworth is the most, like, richly complex character. And we haven't even finished this game yet, which I'm sure we'll delve even more into him. It's probably Edgeworth. Who, by the way, I think won the #1 popularity poll not too long ago. A Wendy Oldbag successor. I'm gonna turn his head right, poor dear. That's what they told me when they brought him in. I love Apollo, too. Something about that youthful vigor. You seem keen for us to think you didn't know much about Knight. That's because I didn't, sweetie. I have not seen The Greatest Attorney. I have not played The Greatest Attorney yet, which I really should. Yeah, I think Apollo and Miles are probably my top 2 as well. Oh, she didn't know what the chess set. I don't think she knew what the chess set. Right? Hold up, I don't think she knew. I don't think she should have known about the chess set. Don't look so nervous, darling. I'm only teasing. Of course we can talk about them some more.
Objection!
Warden Lagarde, you strike me as being more careful than the image you project suggests. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, please, call me Fifi or Sweetie Pie if you prefer. However, I think you may have been a little less careful. Aren't you just the most adorable little creature? We're all family. Thank you, Cowbell. No! Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, don't let her get inside your head. In which case, I find it rather strange that you know about the chisel. Don't you think we check prisoners when they come in? You're not talking your way out of this, Warden. This is entirely irrelevant and you know it. Knight didn't bring in the chess set himself. It was brought by Mr. Saint when he came to visit. What? Of course, when Mr. Saint came in, You checked him? I find that hard to believe. Because if you did, that makes your story all the stranger. If you found the chisel, why did you not confiscate it there and then? Judge Gabel, did you tell anyone about the hidden compartment? You know what I want to say too? I adore Phoenix, especially in his hobo arc. I kind of don't like that they reverted Phoenix back. I kind of missed that. I wish when he was a little sketchier. But, you know. The pet licks her sweat. I didn't realize that. Such a thing would imply an intentional oversight if it had been found. Precisely. So Warden Lagarde, and answer truthfully this time. Where and when did you learn about the chess set? Yeah, you're right. It is licking the sweat. If you won't answer, then allow me. I submit that you... Alright, darling. There's no need to rub it in. You got me, alright. I questioned Knight. That was when I learned about the chess set. But please, you have to believe me, I did not kill him. Yay, tomatoed! You know, I think Hobo Phoenix, right? Wasn't it? It was Edgeworth, Hobo Phoenix, and Apollo were the top 3 in that popularity poll, right? Because there's that beautiful art piece that was done. The court requests you make a detailed statement. None, Your Honor. Thank you, darlings. I'll clear up this awful misunderstanding. Very well. Go ahead, Warden Lagarde, and please tell the truth this time. Her lies are starting to wear thin. That's how I feel, Saru. Which I think is kind of a disservice, you know? I think it would have been cooler. I know that they needed to include Phoenix in the games. I take a point of talking to every newcomer. Knight was no different. We just had a little chat, you might call it. And after we talked, I had him taken back to his cell. The more she lies, the more thoroughly she seals her fate. I wish they kept him as like a mentor figure. You know, not necessarily an attorney on the case. You keep Apollo as like the main defense attorney along with Athena. And Phoenix is like the partner in the cases to like help give guidance, like Mia Fey. I don't know. Seems entirely above board. But you know, whatever. It is what it is.
Objection!
Well, I don't. What proof do you have to back up your statement? I suppose we shall see, won't we? Mr. Edgeworth, you may begin your cross-examination. Question Knight, but it wasn't anything serious. Make a point of talking to every newcomer. Knight was no different. We just had a little chat. Let's see that. How was he when you spoke with him? Oh, he was so open and honest, darling. That guy? Honest? He was talking about one croissant and promoting a prawn. En passant and promoting a pawn. Seems he spared no one from his obsession with chess. Had him taken back to his cell straight away. She likes to get to know all the peeps, huh? Pretty chummy prison warden. Chummy, she killed the man detective. Poor guy would have been in cuffs. He was defenseless.
Hold it!
Let's keep trying. Yeah, Ace Attorney 7, right? Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they kept doing time travel stuff. Or not time travel, you know what I mean, like different time periods. Because again, I haven't played the Great Ace Attorneys, but I've heard they're really good, and I kind of like that they let the characters marinate and rest a bit, but I don't know. It could be fun to get to get some new protagonists. They're late for a friendly chat. Wouldn't he been asleep? A guard was attacked in the cell. We had to examine the scene of the crime, gather information. I assure you, he was wide awake. We all were. Regardless, I find it somewhat odd that you would choose to question him at such a late hour. Oh, you're such a tease, aren't you? No matter how odd you think it is, I had him brought to me and that's what happened. Must you really insist on questioning every last thing? Sorry, Fiefs. He's like a dog with a bone sometimes. Though, would you mind giving us a little more info? Like where you had him brought to? My office, of course. Where else? Her office, which is where we believe the body was moved from. Wait, did Apollo never learn at the end of the 6th game?
Hold it!
I thought he learned at the end of the game, but maybe he did, maybe they never did. You've seen the sign in the detention center. Implied they'll tell him soon. Okay, you're right, yeah. My office is just up there. A short walk from the holding cells. I understand you also have access to the yard. Why, of course, that's where my gorgeous little garden is. Oh, I see where you're going with this. You're saying that's how I move the body. You had the means and the opportunity. It's hardly impossible.
Overruled.
Oh, Patricia Rowland. Oh, Patricia Rowland, like patrol. Okay, I just got that. I just got that, patrol. Hardly impossible proves nothing. There was no other way the body could have moved. Surely you haven't forgotten that it was Mr. Saint who dropped Mr. Knight's body. Yeah, what she said. Phoenix has to defend Umbrella. Hold up, Phoenix has to... I love this idea. Phoenix has to defend Umbrella. So around 3 a.m., I had them bring him to my office. I made a point of talking to every newcomer.
Hold it!
If he had gone back to the cell, he'd still be alive today. You really think I murdered the poor man? But what would my motive have been, darling? I told you, I barely knew him. I'm no angel, I had my grudges against Canis, but Knight had nothing to do with that animal. She really does hate Canis. I must insist that you append that statement to your testimony. I'm no angel, I had my grudges against Canis, but Knight had nothing to do with that animal. They play chess together.
Objection!
Judge Gabel, I'd like you to have a... You're right, bloody kitten. That's why they need to tell them right away. Although, Trucy's very young compared to Apollo, so I don't, I don't think it would ever happen. Also, considering they're half siblings, but... Notes about a game of chess. What's the significance of this? I found it in Knight's cell. Which is exactly where you saw it too, Warden Lagarde. But you didn't just see this game in Knight's cell, did you? You've seen it in Mr. Canis' cell too. What do you mean?
Objection!
Oh, come now. Don't tell me you haven't taken a look at the chessboards in maximum security. I imagine you watch his every move like a hawk. Or rather, I imagine you feel that doing so is your only option. And she wants to find out who his cronies are, right? Personally interrogating your own prisoners is highly irregular, to say the least. But as you said, Mr. Canis had threatened you. He put your precious home at risk. That's why you took it upon yourself to question him. You wanted to find out who his dogs were. And so what if I did? You also told us you read his letters, which means you must have known about the one key fact. You knew he was playing correspondence chess. And then, who should appear but Knight, carrying with him a diagram of a very particular game. We ourselves used that diagram to infer a connection between the two men. And it seems you came to the same conclusion. But in your fear, you took your reasoning one step further. You surmised that Knight was Mr. Canis' henchman sent to kill you. Which is the real reason she had that chat with the Bronxter. If his boss wouldn't crack, maybe he would. And then you questioned Knight. You made another discovery. For there inside his chest set, you found a hidden chisel. The murder weapon itself. And as far as you were concerned, that chisel meant one thing. Canis. Thus, you convinced yourself that Knight was working for Canis, and that is why you killed him. Doug Vader, are you playing this one? That's so funny, I love that. I see you have no more excuses. Judge Gavel, your verdict, please. Much as it grieves me, there would appear to be little room for doubt. I hereby give my verdict. Bronco Knight was murdered by... In the name of the goddess of justice. Who is it this time? Take off the coat. Take off the coat. She's laughing. Hee hee hee. Warden. Hee hee. It's a joke. It's all a big stupid joke. You people just don't get it, do you? I think we've proven that it's you who didn't understand things correctly. Me? Please, darling. I understand it all perfectly well, thank you very much. And I understand there's a glaring contradiction in your theory, Mr. Edgeworth. Heh, you're just grasping at straws now. I have no time for this, Your Honor, the verdict.
Overruled.
I am curious to hear what the Warden has to say. What? You're a doll, Verity. I've just one last thing to say, then Mr. Edgeworth can declare himself the winner. You rang? Does anybody remember a certain autopsy report? Of course. We received the finalized version only this morning. That's right, and I was listening to what you told us about it, Verity. You said the wound was 4 inches deep. 4 inches? Wait. Riddle me this, Mr. Edgeworth. How does a tiny chisel make a 4-inch wound? Ugh! Forgive me, O goddess. I came perilously close to making a terrible mistake. Looks like your theory is the one that doesn't hold water, Edgeworth. What now, What do we do? I'll be fine. Mr. Edgeworth always comes through. Right, sir? Looks to me like the Miles-a-tron's out of commission. You're an attorney too, aren't you? Why don't you do something? Turning things on their head with a desperate bluff. Blurt out the first mind-blowing thing that comes to you. Look, detective, I'm as much of a man of action as the next guy. But without evidence, we're up a creek without a paddle here. This might be the end of the road. We can't give up now. We have to do something. I'm certain that Warden Lagarde is the killer. Does it have to do with the way that he... The body fell down, right? The body fell down the well. It's the only explanation that fits the facts of the case. But if the chisel wasn't the murder weapon, what other bladed weapon is there? It seems we still do not have all the answers, nor the evidence to provide those answers. Alas, we must wait until the trial to see this matter resolved.
Objection!
Ah, come on, G. You're just giving the killer a chance to destroy the evidence.
Overruled.
Are you calling the judicial process into question, Mr. Fender? Eep! No, not me, nuh-uh. I tried, Miles. Any bright ideas? What is the real murder weapon, since it's clearly not the chisel? Confound it. This question throws everything we've deduced out the window. Nothing to add, Mr. Edgeworth. Allow me to remind you that claims not supported by sufficient evidence are subject to the harshest penalties. Maybe Lagarde didn't mean to kill him. Maybe she offered something. Maybe not. Maybe Bronco was alive as he was hung down. I don't know. I don't know. I'm no Edgeworth. I'm no Edgeworth. It's hopeless. I can't think of anything. I need more time. Loath as I am to admit it, You can't give up now! Remember what Mr. Fender said. Simeon's counting on us. Without us, he's... Remember how upset he was? He was devastated. Okay, to be fair... There's no way he did it. But if we can't save him, who will? In the courts, it'll happen. I don't think Edgeworth cares that much, does he? He believes in us. He's sitting in that cell waiting for us to bring him some good news. And I, for one, won't walk away till we have some. Okay. Gee, Miles, your little buddy here is quite the motivational speaker. And she's right, too. When you find yourself on the ropes, think of your client. Picture them pleading with you to help them. Doesn't that make you want to fight back as hard as you can? Think of your old man, good old Gregory. No matter how bad things looked, he'd always find a way to turn it around and save his client. And you're just like him, right? If there's any way to force a turnabout here, you're the one who will find it. Simeon's counting on you. Judge Gavelle. You seem to have recovered your composure. But, if you mean to attempt a defense, I would advise you to consider the ramifications. You have repeatedly proposed misguided theories. If you do so again, I will have no choice but to judge you unfit to serve as a prosecutor. She's right. I put forward a number of theories that proved to be flawed in one way or another. I made some sort of fundamental oversight. Wait, she said my theories were misguided. Sir! Mr. Edgeworth! Maybe Simeon was an accomplice in some way. Not a killer, but... my theories weren't misguided. I was being misled.
Objection!
Okay, why was she gonna... she was gonna declare Simeon Saint guilty? Even though Simeon... we don't have proof that he did the 4 inches either? Because how would he have done the 4 inches? She's definitely some, like, spiritual vibe, although I don't know that she ever... I don't know that she necessarily has a religion other than the goddess of justice. The sighting of his dog Helmet. The fact that he wasn't at the show. Mr. Canis was the obvious suspect at first.
Hold it!
But what if the real killer wanted us to suspect Mr. Canis? What if it was all carefully arranged? And what if the same was true of the chisel, our purported murder weapon? Knight had been stabbed multiple times in the same place with a bladed instrument. What if he was stabbed with a chisel after the real murder weapon had been removed? Just to leave traces of blood on it for us to find. That was how the killer misled us into thinking the chisel is the murder weapon. But why mislead us in this way? Why indeed? Okay, so Canis is... maybe she took advantage of Canis being blind and smelling. Here's my thought. Here's my thought. I think I got it. She sprayed it. Canis's dog did sink his teeth in, thinking that it was going to be a package. So she basically set up Canis and his dog to be the killer unintentionally. Good job, Cabo. Also, Cabo, thanks for staying up late with us. We're almost done with this case, I hope, but... Warden, you took advantage of what the chisel seemed to suggest. What it suggested? What are you talking about, darling?
Hold it!
Mr. Winner, if I were to tell you the murder weapon was a chisel, what would you think? Huh? That Mr. Canis is the killer? And there you have it. No! Alright, that's okay. Good night to you. Good night, Cabell. I spoke too soon. Oh, Mr. Canis had a bunch of chisels, so she wanted us to think it was one of his, right? That was her plan right from the start. To frame Mr. Canis. Your reasoning would appear to be sound. Certainly seems to harbor a deep and abiding hatred for Mr. Canis. However, I think you know what I'm going to say next. That alone is not sufficient proof. Spray luminol on the hound's teeth. If you cannot prove your theory, then this conversation ends here. If we could find the real murder weapon. We searched the prison from top to bottom. Eustace is quite correct. No other possible murder weapon has been found. I'm afraid you're at a bit of an impasse. I can still prove my case yet, Your Honor, because it's still here inside the prison. Or the alligator. Maybe the alligator. Right, I forgot the alligator has metal in it. I forgot about Allie the alligator. I'm glad you at least remember what it is. Security gate detects metal, which means you can't bring anything metal in the prison. Precisely. If there's another murder weapon, it cannot have been taken off the premises. But nor could it have been brought into the prison in the first place. And so we find ourselves right where we began. What am I trying to tell you? If you wish me to believe that there is another murder weapon here in the prison, you will also have to explain to me how it got here. Alright, we know the chisel was smuggled into the prison inside a pocket chess set. But our contention is that the chisel was not the real murder weapon. If the weapon came from outside the facility, there must have been a way to bring it in. Can you show me this alternate route? How did the weapon Lagarde use get into the prison? You borrowed evidence from the police. Why, yes, sweetie. Everything related to Canis is with me now. Heaven knows how many tries I've hauled the secretive scoundrel. The fact that this is here shows that a bladed object could be here.
Take that!
Allow me to remind you of our conversation with Mr. Canis yesterday. Hey! Hello, Rennie. Yes, it was but one of my bells. One of only two in existence. This and only two, one for my knife and one for my beloved helmet. Exquisitely crafted, utterly unique. My ears are my guide, after all. And I must be able to use my tools precisely. Of course, as you said, the knife has long since been taken from me. So you see, there is a way for objects to be brought into the prison unscrutinized. As part of the evidence she borrowed from the police. What? Mr. Canis' knife was part of the evidence. And that evidence was here in prison. Not only that, but the knife had a certain bell attached to it. The bell that was attached to the chisel. Correct. The killer took the bell from the knife and attached it to the chisel. The chisel only had Mr. Knight's fingerprints on it. Easy enough to explain that the killer wore gloves. She made it look as though the chisel was the murder weapon and attached the bell to it. In doing so, she made sure all the evidence pointed to Mr. Canis, and who had access to the evidence from which the bell was taken. Why, only the person to whom it had been entrusted. Who was it, sir? Who's been messing with the evidence? I believe that would be you. Isn't that correct, Warden Lagarde? But bells aren't exactly rare, you know. Anyone could have set it up. Heh. Unluckily for you, that isn't quite true. These particular bells are unique because there are only two of them in existence. What? By attaching that bell to the chisel, you as good as declared yourself the killer. But you don't have proof the knife was ever here to begin with. I don't. Not yet, anyway. Mr. Winter, I'd like you to order another search of the prison. Huh? But if you do find something that's gonna make things awkward for me... We have to find the truth. You're a prosecutor, aren't you? That worthless excuse for a prosecutor. If I'd investigative authority, I wouldn't be sitting on it. Anyhow, it's not my decision to make. The warden would have to authorize it. Good night to you, Rennie. Thank you. I'm going to bed soon myself. I think we're almost done with this case. Sorry, darling, but not without that evidence. Allie the alligator. Allie the alligator. I'm not a prosecutor right now, I'm an associate attorney. It's time for Allie the alligator. Come on. Oh, that's funny, making fun of Phoenix.
Objection!
Wait, Your Honor. This had better be good, Mr. Edgeworth. I've got it. Got what, exactly? The real murder weapon. I know where the knife is. Do you really, Mr. Edgeworth? I do, not at all. If I did not know better, I'd say you were bluffing. It's crazy work. There's no way you could. It's not here, I tell you. Well, would you be so kind as to enlighten us? Think, Miles, think. Somewhere not even the police would search. Allie the alligator. If you insist. Helmet had the chisel. Did she use the same trick? It's ridiculous, isn't it? But the more I think about it, how many foolproof ways to evade detection could there be? There's the faintest possibility I'm right. But if I'm wrong, we stand to lose everything.
Take that!
What? It's not the yard? What? Well, I thought we were talking about Ally the alligator. Uh-oh. Wait, I'm so confused. Not in the yard? Oh, I put the yard outside the cursor?
Take that!
Okay, wow. Okay. Indeed. Thank you, sir. I was so confused.
Take that!
Of course. I knew it. The metal detector. I'd like to remind you of this piece of evidence. Didn't we just figure out that isn't the murder weapon? You might recall that Mr. Canis hid this chisel in his dog's mouth. Would you believe that the real murder weapon was hidden in much the same way? That's right. It's hidden inside the alligator. It was so fun to be at Gumshoe even for a little bit. We detected the presence of a metallic object. Judge Gavel, we need to know what's inside that alligator. We will need to summon a veterinarian. I'm sure I could get the little sweeter to open up for us. Good job, Regina. Please, by all means. Warden the guard. The real murder weapon is about to be revealed. Why not do the right thing and confess? I have nothing to confess. As you wish, then you can simply wait and watch as your lies are exposed. Sir, we got it! Wow! It's over, Fifi Lagarde. The real murder weapon was Canis's knife, making you the only person who could have killed Bronco Knight. This is all Canis is doing. I did the right thing. He was a threat. Curse that despicable man, Canis. Why did he have to come and ruin my perfect little home? We could have been happy forever if it wasn't for him. He ruined my paradise on Earth. He ruined everything. Curse him! Curse that pitiless butcher! I actually feel really bad for her. Curse him! Okay, I wanted her to take the coat off. I did not expect that. Prosecutor Thwitter, sir. Thwitter. I guess we've all been under a lot of stress. Traces of Bronco Knight's blood were found on Mr. Canis's knife. It's just as you said, sir. Congratulations on a stunning victory. Thank you, officer. Excellent work. You can continue complimenting me if you like. Oh, come on. With rage. Excellent work, Eustace. Just a few loose ends to tie up and we're done. Oh, what are you talking about? I just solved the case, didn't I? We've yet to confirm whether or not Knight really was working for Mr. Canis. It will be vital to know if Warden Lagarde was simply jumping to conclusions on that front. Huh? Huh? There's Clueless and then there's you. Well, I guess we better get back to our investigation. Officer, you're with me. You're about to see the winner win a whole lot more. Prepare to witness first-rate investigative talent in action. It's winning time! I like the way he runs. I expect this case will cause quite a stir. The attempted murder of a president is news enough, and now his would-be assassin has been murdered. But Knight never sought to kill the president in the first place. The truth is not always as important as it may seem, Mr. Edgeworth. Wait, that's interesting to say. In the eyes of both society and the law. How can you even say that? You do not have to believe me. However, as a prosecutor, Mr. Edgeworth is obliged to accept this as the reality of the world he operates in. Being a prosecutor is about more than proving people guilty. That's what I believe. We are all free to believe as we choose, but the law is not to be toyed with for our own personal goals. If you refuse to accept this, then you must prepare to suffer the consequences. I'm afraid I must be going now. Farewell, Mr. Edgeworth. He's winning all over the place. Judge Gavell is right. There must be only one set of laws for everyone. But if following the law means sacrificing the truth, can I really do that in good conscience? Hi, Regina! Is everything alright? They did let you out, right? Yeah. But I'm so confused about what's going on. Some guy came in and said I was free to go and that I have Mr. Edgeworth to thank. You sure do. He found out who the real killer is. Wow, really? You did that for me, Mr. Edgeworth? Eep! Oh no. Stop staring at me like that. I'm innocent, I swear. Don't pull the rug out from me now. Stop it, silly. It's true. He saved you. So say thanks already. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And a great big Regina Berry thank you from me, too. Mr. Saint, talking directly to me. Small victories, I suppose. Can I ask one question, Mr. Attorney? Sure. I'm not actually an attorney, though. I thought Bronco was my friend. No, my best friend. I trusted him, but now... But now? Well, it's just... I never knew. I never would have believed that he could hate somebody enough to want to kill them. If he kept something like that from me, then he never really trusted me, did he? That's not true, Simeon. Of course he trusted you. No, he didn't. If he had, he just told me. I could have stopped him. I could have told him that hate never helps. That he had to let go of all that stuff. Mr. Saint, I think you're forgetting something. The chess sets? It has to be the chess set, right? You think it's my prosecutor's badge? Naturally, that's the answer. I feel like it has to be the chess set.
Take that!
Yeah. It's the chess set I brought for him. Knight had hidden a chisel inside. I imagine he meant to use it to escape. You mean he was using me? No, he believed in you. He knew he could count on you to bring it, and that you would never be so untrusting as to look inside. I imagine that by not telling you, he was hoping he could keep you from getting caught up in his mess. Bronco, why didn't you tell me? At least you understand now, right, Simeon? I'm sure he does. He may not show it, but Simeon's no dummy. A good night's sleep, and he'll be completely over this whole thing by tomorrow. That's not as complimentary as you think it is. Oh, I'll try. I have to for Bronco. I have to show him I can become the best animal trainer out there. That's the spirit. Oh, I almost forgot. We're doing a new show soon. I'd love you to come, Mr. Edgeworth. Look at that! It's Max Galactica! Look at that! Well, I'll think about it. Monkey Turi. We got some training to do. I think it's time you and Regent got acquainted. Regent the tiger? No. Oh, you'll be fine, silly. You'll never meet a nicer kitty cat. I can't. Another satisfied customer. Well, that was really something, Smiles. Talk about pulling it out of the bag. I couldn't have done it without you, Fender. Without your timely intervention, she would have gotten away. Besides, I have you to thank for even being able to investigate the case in the first place. Oh, stop it. Pat me on the back any harder, you're gonna make me blush or topple over. I suppose it would be asking too much for you to take this seriously. Seriously, Miles, my friend, I'm always serious. Anyhow, how does it feel to save an innocent client? To be an attorney. Gotta say, I had a blast. Reminded the good old days. Like Gregor was standing there right beside me. Heh, it's been like a zillion years since I felt this warm and fuzzy on the job. That's good? Bittersweet? I'm not sure. Say, Miles, you ever thought about going into the defense game full time? Excuse me? You know, pick up where Gregory left off. Get out there and actually help people. Hey, pal, don't get any big ideas. Why not? Coming over to the light side's all the rage. Everyone's doing it these days. Oh, come on, Mr. Fender. You know it's not about that. Chill, team, chill. Don't get it twisted. I was just asking a perfectly innocent question. No, you weren't. The heck you were. Heh. Looks like you got a mean defense team yourself there, Miles. Fender. I'm a prosecutor. Yep, and I'm an attorney. You could be one too. I'm serious. Well, said my piece. Change your mind, you know who to call. I like his theme song a lot. I'll be waiting. Follow in my father's footsteps. Could I really do such a thing? I'm gonna become a defense attorney just like my dad. An attorney like my father. Me. Interesting. Alright, well, it's definitely time to go to bed. As much as I hate to say it. Turnabout Legacy. Oh my gosh, that sounds really exciting, but it's time to go to bed. Whoops, I'm sorry, didn't mean to do that. Good night to all of you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I know we started late tonight, so thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Good night to all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Tomorrow, I'm going to stream earlier in the day. I'm not going to stream in the evening like I normally do. I'll probably stream at Pacific time for me. I'll probably end up streaming maybe like noonish or 1 p.m. Something like that. So anyway, I will catch you guys later. Peace out, everybody. Imaska, I'm going to look up some tickets too. And yeah, have a good rest of your evening, everybody. Good night.
What's the general dummy operation? What's